Fox Sports.
We are Blackboard. We are Sports Zone.
Free the offense indeed. The Braves bats came alive in a big way in Game 1 last night with a season-high 15 hits and a 9-3 romp over the Brew Crew. Look at that ball carry, and it is gone. Ryan Doman with a punch-in homer. Brought back. That one is gone. Tonight, in beautiful warm weather in Atlanta, Julio Teheran hopes to get a grip and pick up his third victory in 2014. He'll face Milwaukee's ace, right-hander Yovani Gallardo. It's Game 2, the Braves and the Brewers from the Chop Shop next. It is another beautiful night for baseball in Atlanta, and the Brewers are in town for Game 2 of our 4-game series. All year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the right stuff, the low price every day. A very profitable night for the Braves last night. They stomped Milwaukee 9-3, and they picked up a game on the Nationals in the Eastern Division race. The Braves start play today, a game and a half up in first place. Hi again, friends, along with Tom Glavine and Joe Simpson. Chip Carey back at the ballpark, where last night the Braves scored 9 times, pounded out 15 hits. That latter number, a season high for the ball club. And it's not just the number of runs and hits, fellas, but the way the Braves got them that was so impressive in Game 1.
Well, I like the way they were going the other way, Chip, and tonight might be another good idea to try to take what the pitcher gives you. Gallardo's a tough customer pitching for Milwaukee, as Peralta normally is, but last night a lot of opposite field shots for the Braves, including a couple of opposite field home runs. But a good approach here from DJ and some other guys. Altogether, 8 opposite field hits, Tom, and that's good to see.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, we seem to talk about it all the time when the offense struggles, is the ability to go the other way, the ability to get big hits with runners in scoring position. And it's funny how those two things seem to go hand in hand when you have it. So big night offensively. Look for more of the same tonight. You see what they did, what they've done the last couple of games. 12 opposite field hit. Last night 8 opposite field hits. So really good approach last night, and like you said, Joe, much of the same tonight against Gallardo.
And hits might be tough to come by. Both Julio Teheran and Yovani Gallardo are staff aces, and while Teheran struggled last time out, he's been awfully good for the Braves here at home, and we know how tough Gallardo has been in his career against the Atlanta Braves. It's Game 2 tonight, the Braves and the Brew Crew. When we come back, Tom Hart will tell us more about how opposites were attractive last night in Game 1 of the series here at Turner Field.
place teams. I'm Tom Hart at Turner Field. As Chip said moments ago, opposites do attract. And the first sign that things are going right for the Braves, their ability to go with what the pitcher gives them. That was on Fredi Gonzalez's mind earlier today when we talked to him about what is a good sign that your hitters are coming around, and that's taking balls to the opposite field.
That's what you want. That's when they're on. Justin, you know, the two-run homer yesterday. Freddie's home run in St. Louis, the one yesterday. Base hit to left field, you know, a couple days ago. And it was St. Louis, he got one there too. That's how the swing works, you know, and that's how, you know, you catch it a little bit late. You know, you go opposite, you catch it a little bit early, and you know, you hit it straight away. But that's always a good sign when you're hitting the ball to the opposite way of you know, right-hander or left-hander.
Yeah, it's definitely a strength to be able to use the whole field and not think you need to attempt to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And not that we've been doing that, but you know, you get aggressive, you get anxious, and you start pressing, and you want to do well. It tends to be what it looks like.
And Jason Hayward is a perfect test case on why it's great to go the opposite way. Here are his numbers. The first 38 games only went opposite field 5 times and was only hitting .206 at the time. During this 5-game hit streak, though, he has turned it around and taken what the pitcher has given him. 4 of his 6 hits have been to the opposite field, and though they haven't gone for extra bases, he's made it pay off. 2 stolen bases last night and incredible base running from one of the best runners in all of baseball. It's an offense that has failed to gain much traction, but over the last couple of days, it's looked fantastic, and now possibly it matches with the great pitching. Julio Teheran will take them out in a battle of first-place squads. A change to the lineup will be in the news right after this.
Your Atlanta area Mazda dealers, we welcome you inside Turner Field on a gorgeous night for baseball. Game 2 between the Braves and the Brew Crew. Milwaukee has lost its last 3 games in a row, and Ron Renicke's Toyota starting lineup looks a little different tonight. Scooter Gennett's in the game to play second base and bat second. Jonathan Lucroy had himself quite a night at first base and in the batter's box. Last night's finishing pitcher for Milwaukee starts today at first base. You don't see that too often. Lyle Overbay. And, of course, Giovanni Gallardo will pitch and hit ninth.
And they'll be facing right-hander Julio Teheran, making his 10th start on the year. 2-3 with a 2.20 ERA. Sorry. You see his last 36 starts, 16-11 with a 2.65 ERA. That's the 4th best ERA in Major League Baseball over that span. So look for him to get back on track after a rough one his last time out.
And his forward keys to pitching success part of the reason he had a bad outing was he couldn't get a grip on the baseball. He said his hands were dry, the ball was slick. So how about a little lotion tonight? Nobody will notice. Just whatever kind of stick-em lotion you need, just go ahead and use it. And he needs runs.
Hey!
Yeah, how about it? How about some runs? He got shut out against Milwaukee. His first time out against him, got beat 2-0. He'd like a few runs to work with, like you said, Tom, after last night. Save a few for today.
One major lineup change announced literally as we took our first commercial break. Evan Gattis out of the lineup tonight. Gerald Laird gets the start behind the plate. And the Braves had to shuffle their lineup card as a result. We'll get to that when the Braves come up in the bottom of the first inning. And Carlos Gomez, a big swing and a miss from Tehran. 79 degrees in Atlanta tonight. Hopefully Tehran can work up a quick lather and mow down these Brewers. And off the plate for an even count.
I love that breaking ball to start the game. You got a guy in the box that's ultra aggressive on the first pitch, and Julio said, okay, we're not going to just start this one with a fastball like we do every other night.
One ball, two strikes. The sign from Gerald Laird. And Gomez is down on strikes. Good start for Julio Tehran. One up and one man down.
Ooh, some good breaking balls.
Started him with a good one and ended him with a good one.
Joe and I saw Tehran pitch last time out in San Francisco, Tommy, and he didn't look right from his first pitch of the ball game. He walked 5 men before he got his 5th out in the game.
Well, very uncharacteristic for sure.
Scooter Gennett pops the first pitch up. Pena drifts back in the dappled sunshine in right center field. He'll make the play and 2 out.
Well, for me, there's 2 things that'll bother you as a pitcher. Really cold weather, where for obvious reasons you don't have much grip on the ball, but also when you get into that weather out in San Francisco where it's a little bit cool but also windy, it's hard to keep any perspiration on your hand, because even though you might lick your finger and wipe, that wind dries it up pretty quickly, and you can't keep that perspiration on you, and the baseball becomes real slick.
Ryan Braun's the batter. He homered here last night. First homer, first RBI for Braun since coming off the disabled list. 7 homers, 19 RBIs for the Milwaukee right fielder. And Seth Buckminster said that was good enough. Strike 2.
Yeah, remember how that game started in San Francisco, Chip? Gregor Blanco was leading off, got ahead of him 0-2, and then 4 straight wide ones. Blanco stole a base. All kinds of calamitous things happened after that, but he couldn't throw a strike.
Popped up right side. Freeman drifts back. He says he's got it. And Julio Tehran looked really crisp, really sharp, and he retires Milwaukee in order in the top of the first. come a-calling after a big offensive night last night. Braves scored 9 times, picked up 15 hits, and still left 12 on base. So a terrific night at the plate. The Toyota starting 9 features Jason Hayward at the top of the order. Look what he's done in his last 7 played. Ramiro Pena moves to the number 2 spot. Justin Upton hits 4th with Evan Gattis out of the lineup with viral symptoms. That means Gerald Laird will catch, hit 8th. Toronto, of course, 9th against Giovanni Gallardo.
Giovanni making his 10th start on the year. 2-2 with a 3.07 ERA. Real good numbers against the Braves in his career. In 8 starts, 5-1 with a 1.7 ERA, and not giving up too many hits either.
His 4 keys tonight: he's got to have some command of his off-speed stuff, and he's got a good curve and slider and slump. This guy's one of the best hitters in all of baseball among pitchers, and he's 1 for 13 this year. What's that all about?
Why'd you have to preface it with among pitchers?
Hayward jumps at the first pitch and lines it to right. And Braun is there for out number 1.
Yeah, that's a good point. All of baseball would have been just satisfactory, wouldn't it?
It would have, but that's okay.
Okay, I'll get better.
I hope he stays in his slump.
Here's Ramiro Pena. You heard Tom Hart's report on Braves Live about Tyler Pastornicki. Still might need a couple days before that sore calf is 100%. So Pena back in the lineup tonight. Couple of homers, 6 RBIs. And he had a 2 RBI, 2 hit game last night. And lost in all of the offense was the start of Mike Minor. 112 pitches over 6 2/3 innings. 2 runs, 5 hits.
You know what? I hope that happens a lot over this homestand, because for the first now 7 weeks of the season, about all we've had to talk about is pitching.
Yeah.
And if the hitting overshadows the pitching for about 9 days, I think everybody be just fine with that.
Pitchers included.
Yep.
2 balls and a strike to Pena from Giovanni Gallardo. Brewers right-hander, 83 career wins. That's 6 all-time in Brewers history. He's 3 wins away from tying our old pal Ben Sheets, who had 86 wins as a Brewers pitcher. And that's high. 3 balls and a strike.
Good fastball, 88 to 93 with some good movement on it. Mentioned the curveball and slider. Knows how to pitch. And still reminds me every time he winds up of Dennis Martinez.
Line to short. Segura's there. That ball was sharply hit. 2 rockets by the Braves, Hayward and Pena, but nothing to show for them. 2 quick outs for Freddie Freeman. Mr. Freeman's bat is heating up. 3 homers, 10 RBIs in his last 11 games. 2 more hits for Freddie last night, including a 3rd inning homer. And he gets something off speed to start. Talked about all the opposite field hits for the Braves. There were a bunch of them. And how about this one from Freddie?
Kind of set the tone for the night, didn't it?
Another shot toward Braun in right, and Gallardo gave up 3 rockets. But the Braves are retired 1, 2, 3, and off we go to the second. Meet a Braves player, here's your chance. Book your meet and greet with third baseman Chris Johnson when the Braves take on the Rockies this Sunday, May 25th. Reserve your spot today at braves.com/VIP. Crowd settling in after one inning tonight. We had 20,468 for game one. Might have about the same number tonight for Tehran and Gallardo. Game two of this Braves and Brewers series will be finished with Milwaukee at the end of play on Thursday night.
It's like a good crowd out at the Chop House, though, enjoying the late afternoon sunshine. Get a little snack as the game gets started.
Has the Chop House been factored into the new renderings of the new stadium?
So. Yes.
I would think it has to be. That's been a pretty big hit out there.
Jonathan Lucroy starts the second for the Brewers. And he takes high. 1 ball, no strikes. Big night for Lucroy last night. 2 singles and a double. He also lined out. He got the start at first base for Milwaukee. Martin Maldonado started behind the plate, and Milwaukee suffered their first loss with Maldonado catching. The guys, this has been an injury-riddled Brewer team the last couple of weeks, and they really miss Aramis Ramirez, who anchors their lineup in so many ways at third base.
Yeah, he is a force to contend with in the middle of that lineup.
Hamstring problems for Ramirez. His breaking ball is way inside and high. 2 balls and a strike.
That's a little bit different going through the middle of that lineup with Braun, Lucroy, and Ramirez versus Braun, Lucroy, and Overbay.
So Milwaukee has lost 3 straight games and 11 of 18. All of a sudden, the Cardinals are starting to get bigger and bigger in the rearview mirror. Milwaukee's lead in the Central now just 3.5 games.
Well, they will remain in that rearview mirror until they overtake you, because the Cardinals are not going anywhere. Their pitching's too good. See Jerry Naron standing down there next to Ron Renicky, the bench coach for the Brewers, and he said something to me in that first series in Milwaukee when he was talking about Braun, Lucroy, and Ramirez, Tom, and he said, we feel like we have the 3 best hitters in the 3, 4, 5 spot of anybody in the league.
Well, there's, you certainly can argue it. Some other teams will argue it, but they definitely deserve to be in the discussion. There's no question about that.
And he wasn't trying to compare power and the ability to hit homers, just their ability to hit. They really like them.
And I think, much like we talked about a little bit last night with Lucroy, I think aside from Ryan Braun, I think the case, you can also say the same thing about Ramirez. People that don't watch a lot of baseball don't know how good that guy hits, and same thing for this guy in the batter's box now. So that might be why some people may not put them in that discussion, because they don't know just how good those guys really are.
Well, Ramirez in that series up in Milwaukee, as Lucroy takes a walk, a lifetime .376 batting average against the Braves. And let's remember the era in which Ramirez began his career. Big Three was pitching against him, and he was doing that work.
I gotta say, I did my part on those numbers for sure. He warmed me up.
So Tehran with his first base runner, and that sets things up for Lyle Overbay. A homer, 10 RBIs for Lyle, a .218 batting average. He and Mark Reynolds were signed to man first base for the Brewers. And a little tapper. Tehran can't get it. Johnson with a bare hand throws on the run and got his man by a step.
That was a good play on both sides. Julio knew he didn't have a play, so rather than knock it down, just let it go and let Chris take a shot.
Overbay got down the line well for a pitcher.
He's an athlete.
Yep.
He's taken over really as the best hitting pitcher on their team.
maybe in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget a 0-point ERA. Here's Segura, and he jumps on the first pitch. Boy, they've been aggressive early in the count tonight, haven't they? PJ makes the catch. No advance by Lucroy. 2 outs.
We talked about it last night. These teams are 1 and 2 in percentage of swings at the first pitch, and that certainly has been the case so far here tonight.
That's a pitcher's best friend if they're hitting your pitch, right?
Absolutely.
So Teheran 5 outs on 17 pitches.
That's what I say. If you have good command of your breaking ball, your off-speed pitch, you throw those early in the count, you can get some quick outs.
That's a little low to Chris Davis. Davis lost baseball last night. A 2-run homer in the 5th. But also lost his glove trying to catch Freddie Freeman's home run at the fence.
It's kind of a Charlie Brown home run.
Two balls, no strikes. Mentioned last night, Davis got the bulk of the playing time in the outfield when Ryan Braun was suspended. And they liked his work so much that they were able to move Ryan Braun to right field. Davis can play every day in left. But Chris hitting .222 on the year. And Davis walks on 4 pitches. So bookend walk so far in the second inning for Teheran. And that'll bring up Jeff Bianchi, the third baseman.
This guy's a good player and a nice utility guy for the Brewers. And the good thing for him and for their team is that his natural position is shortstop. So if he needed to spell Segura, he fills in nicely there and can play the other infield positions too.
Well, he must be the guy they wanted, because they didn't seem to want any part of Chris Davis in that at bat.
The Yankees, another player that had to go through Tommy John surgery, but he's not a pitcher, as you know. Lost the 2010 season recovering from Tommy John. Was originally a 2nd-round pick by Kansas City, then went to the Cubs. In 2011, the Brewers claimed him off waivers before the 2012 season. He's been a Brewer ever since. And this ball's popped up shallow right. Jason Hayward's going to gallop in. He's under it, and he's got it. And it's another easy inning for Teheran, although with a couple of walks. Nothing doing for the Brewers. It's still scoreless. Things off for the Braves, and he'll try to support Julio Teheran with the game's first run. Time for tonight's Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot. We mentioned Aramis Ramirez and the damage he did against the Big Three. Tommy, congratulations.
Wait. Led the lead, or led the group in something. I knew he owned me. I didn't know it was that good, but I knew it was good.
You know, what a compliment for you to say that before we saw the numbers. When you said, yeah, I know he wore me out. If he knew you said that, that'd be a great compliment.
Well, maybe. I don't know. He just, I don't know what, I didn't know how to get the guy out half the time. There was nowhere to go. You go inside, you crush it, you go away, it just hit it the other way. You make a mistake, you hit a home run. It's not an easy out.
Justin Upton, the batter. So Ramirez has always had a soft spot in his heart for Atlanta's pitching. Maybe because he was acquired by the Cubs from the Pirates while the Cubs were in Atlanta so many years ago. Now he's a Brewer. No kid, he's 35 now. And injuries were a big problem for Ramirez last season.
And he can pick it at third base too.
No balls, 2 strikes for Justin Upton. Would you guys say 10 errors is a pretty good total for a major league third baseman for an entire season?
Yes.
Yeah, for a season,
good,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times he's had 10 or fewer errors in a season as a major league third baseman. And Upton couldn't check his swing and is struck out. He didn't think so. And Gallardo has his first of the night.
And I don't think he's ever won a Gold Glove.
I'll check.
And that's kind of ridiculous.
Well, he's certainly hit enough. You think about those seasons with the Cubs with 30 homers, 100 RBIs. Over 350 big league homers, over 2,000 hits. And now the Braves third baseman, Chris Johnson. Hope some of that hitting luck will rub off. He could use one. Chris 0 for his last 15.
What a good career. I mean, it's not over for Ramirez. I'm going to say chances are real good he's not going to go in the Hall of Fame. But what a good career.
Comebacker, and Gallardo with the play. And there's the second out. He's 7th on the all-time major league list for homers as a third baseman. Think about that. The history of the game. 7th. Mike Schmidt, Eddie Matthews, Chipper, Greg Nettles, Matt Williams, and Adrian Beltre. A bit more than Aramis Ramirez coming into play this year.
He's a good one. That's why they need him.
So Gallardo has the second out. Here's BJ, and a little low. Upton reached base 3 times last night. Couple of walks, couple of runs, and he also singled. Ball 2. By Gallardo's high standards, last year was a very disappointing year for the Brewers pitcher. After back-to-back seasons of 17 and 16 wins, he won 12 games last year and saw his ERA balloon to 4.18. Innings were down. Strikeouts were way down. He had struck out 200 or more men in 4 consecutive seasons, fellas. Struck out 144 last year in 180 innings.
An off season for him.
Sharply hit toward third. Nice pick And the throw to first is in plenty of time. Nice grab there by Bianchi to take away a hit try for B.J. Upton. And new for this season, you can save up to 44% with a Taco Mac center field steal. Get an outfield seat plus a $5 Taco Mac gift card for just $15 tomorrow and every Wednesday home game. Go to Braves.com specials to get this amazing ticket deal.
Looks like blonde night here. And those are just a few.
Giovanni Gallardo, good hitting pitcher, leads off the third. But again, by his standards, this has not been a fun start at the plate. Just 1 for 13.
Like I said, he's in a slump. This guy's a 203 career hitter. He's got 12 lifetime homers.
Healthy cut there, and it's popped up right side. Pena is under it, and he's got it. And Gallardo's retired. It's 4 pop outs from Tehran so far tonight. He's also got a fly out to straightaway center. Back to the top we go, and Carlos Gomez. Breaking ball first time up on the first pitch. Good fastball this time. Gomez is 28 years old, out of Santiago of the Dominican Republic. Finished 9th in the National League MVP voting last year with a 24 homers, 73 RBI, and 40 stolen base season last year.
And an outstanding defensive year.
Up the middle, and that will find its way to center field. That's the first Brewers hit of the game. And I would think Gomez might be getting his sea legs under him. He's had a rough week.
Like a misplaced changeup. It was a breaking ball, just kind of flat.
Looked like he maybe slowed down a little bit, maybe try to throw it a little bit slower and break it a little bit more, but caught a little bit too much of the plate, and good piece of hitting by Gomez.
And Joe's right about his defensive excellence. He won the Gold Glove last year. Snapped the Brewers' streak of 30 straight years without a Gold Glove winner. Here's Scooter Gennett. He looks low. 1 ball, no strikes.
He does everything you want a center fielder to do. He can go get it. He can throw. Covers all kinds of ground out there.
We'll see what kind of liberties he takes with Tehran's terrific pickoff move. Didn't get the heater. 1 ball, 1 strike. Scooter is not Mr. Gennett's given name. His full name is Ryan Joseph Gennett. Joe told the story of how he got his nickname when he was a little kid. He used the nickname Scooter as an alias to police officer when his mom took him to the police station because he wouldn't put the seatbelt on in the car. So the cop scared him to death. What's your name, son?
And he used a Muppet character.
A Muppet baby.
Scooter's right.
I love it.
He had a nice year last year for the Brewers. What with the troubles of Ricky Weeks. Hit .324 in 69 games. And now, Tommy, is the adjustment time. He's been around the league a time or two, and now he's got to figure some things out.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that ebb and flow as it comes to adjustments. You know, you'll sneak up on guys a little bit early on, and they're trying to figure out exactly what you're good at, what you're not good at, try to match up what they see on video, and then apply what they see in real time, in real life, and start using that against you. So he's got to stay ahead of the curve.
In the air, right center field. Will it hang up long enough for Upton? It will. BJ got there, and there's the second out. And Gomez back to first. So here comes the artist, Ryan Braun. He popped out his first time up and ended Milwaukee's 1-2-3 first.
Formerly known as Ryan Braun.
Missed inside. 1 ball, no strikes.
Here's where you get paid the big bucks to be a manager, I think. Situations like this, your team's struggling to score runs. You got arguably your best hitter at the plate with 2 out. So do you run the risk of sending a fast runner to get him into scoring position at the risk of leaving Braun at the plate to lead off next inning?
I don't, because I think that essentially takes the bat out of his hand. You're not gonna pitch to him with a runner in scoring position.
Well, then you've got to have confidence in your cleanup hitter if you're going to do that. And if the way Lucroy's swinging right now, that's not a bad thing.
Johnson handles it third, and a strong throw to first retires Braun and the Brewers. Bottom part of the Atlanta order up, still no score.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by AT U-verse, Delta Airlines, and Ford.
As expected, the pitchers off to good starts tonight. Gallardo for Milwaukee, Julio Teheran for the Braves. Brewers have a hit and a couple of walks. The Braves looking for their first base runner. And the inning starts with Andrelton Simmons, the Atlanta shortstop. Andrelton hit in the 7 spot last night, had 3 singles and an RBI. Boy, it's sure a lot more fun talking about runs like that than saying somebody's 1 for their last 15 or 3 for their last 37.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun for everybody, us included.
It's very contagious when the team's swinging the bats and scoring runs and giving the pitcher some support. It just rubs off on everybody, makes everybody feel better about coming to the park the next day, and chances against a tough pitcher make him start worrying about how he's going to get the Braves out.
2 balls and a strike, and that's high from Gallardo. It's 3-1. That's not like him. More balls than strikes so far. The Braves without a base runner to this point. High fly ball belted deep left. They got a base runner and a run scored. Simmons with a solo homer.
Boy, now that was swung on and belted. I don't know, but that may have been his best bolt right there. Boy. Crushed a high fastball.
His first homer since April 21st against the Marlins. And now Gerald Laird the other way. An opposite field hit for Gerald Laird. And the Braves have back-to-back hits to start the 3rd inning.
Chip, you said a second ago about the pitch count for Gallardo, more balls than strikes. His last start against Pittsburgh, he pitched into the 7th inning, and he gave up 5 hits, but 2 of those were homers that led to 3 runs. He got a no decision. He only walked 2, but it almost seems like, looking at the numbers and not knowing for sure, but almost like he's kind of wild in the zone, pitching to the middle of the plate more than he usually does.
Well, he certainly doesn't do that often against the Braves. Gallardo 5-1 lifetime against Atlanta. Now let's see if Teheran can lay down a bunt. He did. That ball is going to be ruled foul. Boy, oh boy, this one looked awfully close. It looked like LaCroix was in fair territory when he touched the ball, and the ball looked fair too.
Yeah, it sure did. I thought maybe for a minute they might be calling interference or something, but
it's where the ball is and where he made contact with the baseball, not where the man is. Spin. Those angles appeared to show in foul territory.
yeah, he was definitely in fair territory, but the ball was in foul territory.
Carlos Tosca wanted to find out for sure, and Teheran got the bunt down. Laird was moving on the pitch, and he'll stand at second base with 1 out. That's a sight for sore eyes too, isn't it, fellas? Braves pitcher got a bunt down.
Well, that's his 4th, so we can't be critical of Julio. He's been doing the job and did a nice job of letting the baseball come to the bat and just catch it with the bat on a high pitch. You didn't see him poking at it, stabbing at it.
RBI chance for Jason Hayward now with Gerald Laird at second base. Jason hit one right on the button at Ryan Braun and right. Simmons homer, the first run of the night for Atlanta.
And the first run of support ever for Julio Teheran against the Brewers.
When the Braves score first, they're 16-3 this year, so that's an encouraging sign. As is the recent offense of Hayward, who's got a 5-game hit streak. This one popped up left side. The Yankee comes in and on the grass at third. Makes the play. That's the second out. Time for our Home Depot tools from the dugout run support for Gallardo and Teheran.
Neither guy gets many to work with. Gallardo 7th lowest in the National League and Julio 9th.
Yeah, when you start getting to that consistently, I think you just come to the ballpark and assume you're just not going to get any runs and just go about your business. And then when you get them, kind of try to figure out what you're going to do with them and not give them back.
Ramiro Pena, the hitter. But I love what you said earlier in the ball game, Tommy. When the Braves were scoring their 9 and 15 hits, you said Teheran sitting on the dugout bench said, "Hey, save a few for me." Do you guys really say that or think that at the time of the game?
Absolutely. When it's going on, especially when you're a guy that's struggling to get runs to begin with, and this is the first run he's gotten against Milwaukee. I mean, you're thinking, when am I going to have one of those days? And you figure the baseball gods aren't going to let you do it 2 nights in a row usually.
Julio has the lead. Let's see if Pena can chase home Gerald Laird with a 2-out hit. Line one the other way to Gene Segura, the shortstop. He was in the Braves first when they were retired in order 1, 2, 3. Way high and outside, a very wild pitch. I mean, no chance for Lucroy to even get leather on that ball.
That hit the screen on the fly, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, as our good friend Mr. Euchre would say, just a bit outside. That is not close.
I always love the reaction of the fans behind the plate. See that guy?
Yeah, because they're not quite fully committed to paying attention, and out of the corner of their eye they see the ball coming at them. It's like, oh.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Nice stop. Watch the gentleman in the Braves hat who's talking to his friends. Incoming. Two and two. Laird at third. 2 outs. And Pena, good eye.
Ramiro's going to get a good pitch to hit here. They've been trying to get him to swing at their pitch the last 2 so that they'd have Freddie leading off the next inning. Well, they don't want to face Freddie here, 1st and 3rd. So I'm guessing that Ramiro's going to get something good to hit. And they threw him a really good curveball. His curveball is 12-6. It's hard. A dandy on a normal night.
So not a chance for Pena with a full count. And he draws a walk. And the appeal to third is denied. 1st and 3rd for Atlanta, and the Brewers will have to face Freddie Freeman.
I don't get that. I don't get that pitch selection.
Nor do I. I mean, you're almost approaching him like he is Freddie Freeman. I mean, I would think that if ever you get into that situation where you think a guy in a lineup is going to get a pitch to hit because of the protection behind him, you think that would have been it. You know, that you're going to come after him with a fastball right there and not risk walking him. And you know, now even though you've got a base open, you got to pitch to one of these two guys.
Well, Freeman 7 for 12 with runners in scoring position and 2 out. That's high to the Braves first baseman. 1 ball, no strikes. .45 2-out RBIs for Freddie last year, who drove in 109 overall. Nibble, 2-0. They want to face Upton, righty with the bases loaded.
Well, sure doesn't seem like he wanted to challenge Pena, and certainly doesn't seem to be wanting to go after Freddie here.
But they had Pena. They had him 1 and 2, and that's why I thought 3 and 2 he'd get a real good fastball to hit, and they threw him a breaking ball fouled off, and then a worse breaking ball for ball 4.
Freeman was turned loose 3-0. He might be mad. That might not have been a strike.
Might have been low. We'll see Tulowitzki here Friday night.
3 balls and a strike. Now it's full. Upton would love a crack at Gallardo here in the 3rd. Justin waits on deck. Giovanni about to make his 45th pitch. Pena's running, and Freeman takes low. They did the same thing to Ramiro with 2 strikes.
I get that one. I get that because they don't want to give in to Freddie. But I sure don't get it to Pena.
No, when you're throwing mid-90s, you know, take a chance on a fastball in the outer 3rd or inner 3rd of the plate. See if you can, you know, get one by him or get him out with that. I agree with you 100%. Yeah, Freddie, sure. Make him hit a breaking ball if you throw it for a strike. Don't just throw him a fastball right down Broadway.
Upton had a big fly last night out of the reach of Ryan Braun. And he has been sizzling hot at home all year. 8 home runs, 15 RBIs, and a .375 average. For Justin, this is his 2nd at bat of the season with bases loaded. Just missed. Boy, Gallardo wanted that one. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, I don't think I can blame him.
Yeah, that's a good one. Just, well, that shows it shaved the outside. I don't believe that. Looked like a good pitch. .27 pitches in the inning, but he threw 13 to Pena and Freddie. I like the patience Justin is showing here, waiting for a good pitch to hit.
Laird, Pena, and Freeman, the Braves runners. Hot shot, base hit left field. Laird will score. Here comes Pena around 3rd. Throw to the plate is bobbled by Bianchi. Upton will move up to second base. It's a 2-run hit for Upton, and the Braves take a 3-0 lead.
Another breaking ball, but it was up. And great patience by Justin, waiting on something that he could handle.
And that's a good piece of hitting and a good approach from the standpoint of paying attention to what's going on with the guys in front of you. He's shown the two hitters in front of him that he's not willing to challenge him with a fastball behind in the count. And even in a 2-1 count with the bases loaded, your inclination is to think fastball. But Justin was sitting on that breaking ball, got a hanger, and drove it for a base hit.
It's a single, E5. And now a broken bat roller towards short. Segura handles the in-between hop, and that will retire the side. The home run, the big highlight of the third inning, but a very odd pitch sequence to Ramiro Pena set up the Braves' big inning, and they lead 3-0.
You may think with 14 runs on 20 hits over the last 13 innings, it's all fun and games for the Braves these days. Freddie Gonzalez says that won't be the case until at least October.
You don't enjoy it. It's not fun. People tell you it's fun. It's not fun. It's fun at the end of the year. When you win and you're hopefully, your goal is to win a World Series. But that's when it's fun. When you sit back and go, man, I had a bunch of great guys, great teammates. We had a good runs. But when you're going through that daily stuff, I mean, it's fun for about 2 hours.
A lot of stuff goes into that line of thinking, not the least of which is you've got a first-place team, but it's in the tightest division in all of baseball.
Thank you, Tom. Well, Braves are having some fun so far tonight. They're up 3-0 against tough man Giovanni Gallardo. And as Joe mentioned, Julio Teheran, who's gotten no run support ever against Milwaukee, has a comfortable lead facing a ball club that's really struggling to score runs right now. Lucroy, Overbay, and Segura coming up in the fourth. Shutdown innings are important, like these innings for Teheran.
Well, they are, and this is one of those situations where you, like I was saying, I hope he doesn't think, oh, I got a 3-run lead, now what do I do? Because you do that sometimes. You're so used to pitching in games where it's every mistake matters, every pitch matters. Not that every pitch doesn't matter, but obviously when you're in a 1-run game and you have no margin for error, it's a little bit different than when all of a sudden you find yourself with a little bit of a lead. Sometimes you lose that edge a little bit, and you start finding a little bit more of the plate because you're pitching to not walk guys, so to speak, rather than trying to get guys out.
In the air toward right center field. That ball's tailing toward Hayward, but not close enough for him to get to it. He'll play it on a hop at the base of the fence, and Jonathan Lucroy has another hit. This one a leadoff double to start the Brewers' fourth.
Infield was playing him to pull, and B.J. Upton was shading him toward right. They had him defensed properly, but he just split the gap.
Well, I know we've talked about it, but I'm going to go on record as saying the more I watch that guy hit, the more I like him. Yeah, he's a good player.
So Lyle Overbay is the batter. The Brewers first baseman bounced out to third. It's a fine play by Chris Johnson to come in and charge with a bare hand. And good communication, Tom. He and Tehran both could have gone after that ball.
Yeah, I think Julio obviously wanted to get it, but I think he recognized once it got just a little bit behind him, it was going to be a real difficult play for him. And Chris came in, made a nice barehanded play, made a strong throw.
Close pickoff play, and Simmons, as he always does, has that baseball at the ready in case the runner's foot comes off the bag.
That was very close.
Yeah, if he had a little bit more of an aggressive lead, he would have had him.
Now it's 0-2. It's going to be kind of a happy homecoming for Lyle Overbay, who was a Milwaukee Brewer in 2004 and 2005. That 04 season, he led the National League in doubles with 53 of them. He went to Toronto for a couple of years and had some big seasons north of the border with Blue Jays. And he's down on strikes here and can't advance Lucroy to third base. Good pitch sequence for Tehran. That's out number 1.
That's something that had been plaguing the Braves. Get a leadoff double, couldn't get the guy over. Even with guys who are very capable of getting that kind of job done. Overbay certainly is, but couldn't get it. Couldn't make it happen to set up the Brewers for a run.
Lucroy was left stranded at second in the second. He stands there here in the fourth for Gene Segura. Another pickoff try. This time it was Pena with the cover at second, but he couldn't hold the baseball. Nothing in one.
That pitch reminds me of what Minor did last night. Left-hander working the right-handed hitters over all night long with that two-seamer, busting them in.
Yeah, Mike did a good job of keeping guys honest inside last night and then getting some punch-outs in there when he got ahead in the count.
That's out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Toward third, Chris Johnson knocked it down, picked it up, and threw high at first, and that pulled Freeman off the bag. No advance by Lucroy at second base. Segura will reach on an E5 throwing error. And 2 are on with 1 out.
Nice glove work, but rushed to throw big time after he picked it up. And knew he had a fast runner too.
Well, Julio's job right here, pick him up, get him another one. Get that ground ball double play, get out of the inning.
Chris Davis, the batter. He swings the first pitch and pops it up into right field. Hayward's under it, and he'll grab it for out number 2. Thank you very much. Again, Milwaukee is swinging, as they often do, at the very first pitch in the sequence, and that's out number 2. That'll bring up Jeff Bianchi. He flying to right his first and only time up. 3-0 Atlanta. All 3 runs for the Braves in the 3rd inning. Count. Now Bianchi's down to his last strike.
Hook him, Julio. Something off the plate away.
Way but too high. 2-2.
Fastball.
I'd venture to say he's going to come with that one again. I don't think he's got great confidence in his breaking ball tonight, or doesn't seem to.
He did. And Bianchi was late.
And one of his best fastballs, 93.
Brewers have seen their win total in the final season tally decline each of the last 3 years. They're trying to change that this season. Right now they're in some major offensive problems. 96 wins for the Brewers in 2011. They won the Central that year. 2012 they fell to 83 wins and finished 3rd. Last year 74 wins, 88 losses, and a 4th place finish. They lead the Central by 3.5 over the Cardinals at the moment.
They had so many things go wrong last year. Corey Hart missed the whole year. Ramirez was hurt a lot of the year with a bad knee, and of course the Braun situation, huge distraction.
Runners go. It's popped up, but into the seats. Laird will give chase, no play. And we saw Brian Braun play his first game back from suspension up in Milwaukee, and the fans were, in Milwaukee at least, ready to forgive and forget.
I think everybody did a I got it, no you take it, and let a gentleman get hit right on top of the head with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it. No, wait a minute. That's coming down really fast.
Swing and a miss. Teheran takes care of the Yankee. And boy, oh boy, we've seen this movie before. Milwaukee got a leadoff double and cannot advance that man. It's 3-0 Braves. With B.J. Upton ready to lead things off, it's time for our AT Uverse trivia question. Giovanni Gallardo has 1,120 career strikeouts, second most in Brewers history. Who has the most?
Wow. You mentioned Ben Sheets. He's a candidate. Ben Sheets. Teddy Higuera.
Moose Haas.
Oh, look at you.
Right?
Yeah. Moose Haas. Pete Vukovich. Don Sutton. He wasn't there long enough.
B.J. Upton.
Chris Bosio.
Good call. Now, how many years did Don pitch with the Brew Crew?
I think just one and a half. One and got picked up at the trade deadline, I believe, for a World Series run in '82.
He can get 1,100 strikeouts in a year and a half?
I don't think so.
So in his Hall of Fame career, he was there for just a hiccup.
Yeah.
As Upton takes a strike. It's 3-1.
There's the old Brewer.
Those aren't earmuffs. Those are Don's radio headphones. Three-two pitch is low. Upton with a walk. Well, he's got it 2 strikes a lot and has missed low pretty consistently the last couple innings, and that's cost Gallardo at least 2 runs tonight. Let's take a look at tonight's SunTrust shining moment.
Remember the other night he fouled off or the other day he fouled off, I think, a fastball from Rosenthal that was up, and you wondered how in the world he did it, but he got up on the same plane. He can get on that high fastball.
He was able to hold up on that pitch. 1 ball, no strikes.
But I was talking about his swing last night and how much I like the way he's able to dive into the plate, but he doesn't block himself with his left hip because his foot is too closed. That was a good example of it on that swing.
Simmons now at 284 for the year. And pops one up and out of play. Something the Braves have talked about that's really remarkable about Simmons. We know about his glove, but he's really learning how to hit at the major league level because he didn't spend a ton of time in the minor leagues. He got here because his glove was so good, and he's been able to swing the bat effectively since the moment he put on a Braves major league uniform.
Well, he put everybody on notice when he won the batting title at Lynchburg and won the batting title by about 20 points, I think it was. And there weren't that many guys in the league that hit 300.
I think he was the only one that hit 300 that year. He started in Danville in 2010 and was with the Braves in 2012. About 230 minor league games.
And it bears repeating that they didn't draft him as a shortstop. They knew he could play short, but he had to request that he be given a chance to play shortstop before they made him a closer.
One ball, two strikes. Upton was leaning and somehow got back.
He was going.
Let's see if he still is. Upton at first, nobody out. 1-2 pitch. Nope. And a bouncing ball up the middle. It hits the second base bag. That's a break. And Upton's on his way to third base. First and third, nobody out.
Look at Andrelton.
And he's going to be out. He tried to catch Milwaukee napping and tried to move up 90 feet, and he's the first out. And he's pausing at second base, and that might mean a challenge from Freddie Gonzalez.
Well, he thought he might catch the Brewers infielders napping when the ball was thrown in. He was just waiting to see if it was thrown in crisply or kind of lobbed in, and when it had a little air under it, he took off for second. I mean, he did a great job the other day in St. Louis, suckering Matt Holliday into a throw to second, and then took third. Pulled the left hand back, got tagged in the chest. So it looks like the hand may have gotten in there.
And again, it has to be clear and convincing evidence to overturn the call. The call on the field is out. It is a 5-4 put out after Simmons with the single, and Freddie has decided to go ahead and challenge this call at second base. Braves skippers 5 out of 6 in replay challenges so far this year.
Those angles gave you a good reason to want to replay. How about from this angle? Hold the left hand back. Hand's in there. Hand is in there. Kind of bounced around, but he never lost contact with the base with some part of his body.
And the noise you're hearing in the background is the crowd reacting to the replays shown on the scoreboard. That's the part of replay I do like. Fans get a chance to see some of what the umpires and replay control in New York are seeing.
We saw from center field that on the tag effort, the glove never hit him until it hit him right there in the chest. And by that time, his hand's on the bag, and he never loses contact with the base. Like this angle. Hands on the bag right there, and the glove then touches the chest.
the field, out at second base. To overturn the call, there has to be clear and convincing evidence to do so.
Fielding Culbreth is the crew chief.
And the verdict is in. Good challenge. Simmons safe at second base. At the time Freddie Gonzalez came out to initiate the replay sequence, it took 2 minutes, not 2 hours, 2 minutes and 49 seconds. The call is overturned.
Be a long challenge, 2 hours.
So it's a single. He took second on the fielder's choice. The Brewers infield comes in for Laird. And he took a shot at right field and is down a strike.
I'll show you the whole thing and how it led Andrelton to take second base. Ball hits the bag, retrieved by Jeanette. BJ heads to third. Now Jeanette's just kind of lobbing the ball back in, and when he did, that's when Andrelton broke for second. It was a real heads-up play by Simmons.
And that's a little low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, this could be a knockout blow for Milwaukee if Laird could pick up a hit and 2 RBIs here. Brewers offense is in dry dock. 1-1 pitch.
That was a good idea. He was thinking right field all along, and the way Overbay and Jeanette are kind of bunched together over on the right side, there's a lot of room down the line.
I just got to think breaking ball here, don't you?
I think so.
With everybody else. Nope.
A fastball. That's a different look. It was a good pitch in a good spot and a big first out in the Braves' 4th.
We talked in the 9th inning in St. Louis, Chip, about how during the dry spell for the offense, nothing really good happened. No breaks went Atlanta's way, and all of a sudden a few things happened positively for them. And it's definitely carried over to this series, and a good challenge out there at second base for Andrelton.
Infield in for Tehran. 1 out. Little tapper over the mound, and the ball dropped in the middle of the diamond. All hands are safe. Speaking of breaks, and Gallardo leaping for that ball came down awkwardly and has hurt himself.
That may have cost them more than a run. I don't remember which knee it was that he tore up in Chicago that day. He was having trouble putting weight on it. He ruled an E4. Watch him jump. Oh, he kind of rolled his ankle a little bit. More so than his knee as he was trying to plant. Watch his left foot as he was trying to jump. I know Segura messed that up.
Yeah.
Watch his left foot or ankle right there.
Oh. Well, that knee problem you're talking about, Joe, was in 2008. He tore the lateral meniscus in his left knee in spring training that year and was disabled from March 21st to April 19th. Later that year, on May the 1st, at Wrigley Field in Chicago, he tore the ACL in his right knee on a play at first base and stayed in the game and kept pitching.
Right knee.
Right knee. So he hurt both knees in 2008.
Well, the last thing a manager wants from his ace is to have a leg or foot problem, and what that can lead to. Tyler Thornburg has begun to loosen up in their bullpen. I'm not sure what the debate would be right here, unless their bullpen is kind of worn down, a little thin, because he's already given up 4 runs. And we're in the 4th inning, and there's some question of whether they can continue. Why would you press it?
Well, you hope, obviously you hope you find something, keep you in the game, and get a chance to come back. But you sure would hate to risk him being out there on that leg and not feeling comfortable and doing something more.
Yeah, we have our answer. He's not going to be allowed to continue. So Giovanni Gallardo has allowed 4 runs. And he will walk off under his own power, but an ankle injury of some sort will take him down for Milwaukee after 66 pitches tonight. Braves continue to hit in the 4th inning. They lead 4-0 at Turner Field.
By the Georgia Lottery, Toyota, and AT&T.
The Braves offensive pipeline is gushing of late. 4 runs on 4 hits so far tonight. We're in the 4th inning, 1 out and 2 men on for Atlanta. As it's time to enjoy our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. There is all the offense for Atlanta. The hits are coming in bunches for 4 men in particular right now.
Hopefully that continues. Hopefully they continue to stay hot where it'll rub off on everybody else. Get on a big tear.
So Gallardo is out of the ball game, and a product of Riverwood High School is on for Milwaukee. He'll have as much time as he needs. It's Tyler Thornburg.
He's on for the 22nd time, 3-1, 2.25 ERA. Four-seam fastball, cutter, curveball, changeup. You can get it up there like just about everybody in the bullpen nowadays, mid-90s. So look for that.
He's been described as a starter in waiting. He started off through the minor league system for the Brewers. And here's one for you. He got called up last year. He was originally a 3rd-round pick in the draft in 2010. But last year at Nashville in AAA, in 15 starts, he was 0-9 with a 5.79 ERA and got called up to the big leagues. That doesn't happen very often.
No. Wow.
But he's got a good arm, and at one point, maybe as early as 5 days from now, depending on the injury to Gallardo, he may be in the rotation.
Well, that 0-9 in AAA, he made up for it by going 8-1 in AA in 2012 and 7-0 in A-ball the year before that. So he's on to pitch. He'll bat first in the 5th inning for Milwaukee when we get there. His spot's due up. But first things first, Jason Hayward's up. 2 on, 1 out, and 1 across here in the 4th inning. And that's high to Hayward. 1 ball, no strikes. Good cut by Jason. He ripped that baby straight back to the screen. Does success breed confidence, or does confidence breed success? Looks like Jason's got his stroke back. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Might want to check the end of his bat, make sure it didn't splinter.
Hayward down on something off speed, and a big first out for Thornburg. That's the 2nd out of the inning. Well, that's a big stat, isn't it? First batter faced, and you're coming out of the bullpen in trouble. Good pitch sequence takes care of Hayward for out number 2. And Ramiro Pena's up. Pena's lined out, walked, and scored. Ball, no strikes. Keep you posted on the Nationals and Reds tonight. They're playing in Washington, D.C. The Nationals lead 2-1 in the 6th. Braves have a 1.5 game lead over Washington in the East. Phillies are in Miami 3-2. Bad news for the Phillies. Cliff Lee, tender elbow. Might need an MRI.
Uh-oh.
Dodgers and Mets are tied at 1. That game's in the 5th inning at Citi Field. That's off the plate. 3-0. You know, Thornburg knows Freddie Freeman's on deck. And he's going to have to face him with the bases loaded.
Well, that's twice they've done that.
Maybe that's their scouting report. Pitch around Pena. Go after Freddie. It may be.
Well, the original scouting report had Justin Upton hitting second, so maybe Pena's got them all out of sorts. So another chance to bust this baby open. 4-0 for Freeman, who's lined out and walked. Fellas, we might have gone 3 weeks without seeing the Braves hit with the bases loaded. It seems like it's happened 4 or 5 times in the last 3 or 4 games.
Crazy how that happens.
This guy leads their team in wild pitches, so Simmons needs to be heads up to that.
One pitch is fouled at the plate. And now 0-2. B.J. Upton scored the 4th Atlanta run. Now Simmons, Teheran, and Pena, the Braves base runners. Right back up the middle, and Thornburg knocked that down. The ball dropped to his feet, and he threw out Freeman at first. Atlanta scores a 4th run, leaves the bases loaded, and we head to the 5th. Slow pace. What with the replay, the injury, and of course all those Braves base runners, but we don't care. Atlanta's up 4-0. That's the good news, and we head to inning number 5 tonight. Andrelton Simmons bobblehead night is coming up on Thursday, May 22nd. It's presented by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. The first 20,000 fans get to take home this one-of-a-kind souvenir. In fact, Joe's got one up in the booth. Get your tickets today at Braves.com/tickets. Call 800-745-3000.
Notice the Gold Glove right here.
It's almost sacrilegious to say the word bobble and Andrelton Simmons in any way, shape, or form, though, right? We got to think of another way to describe that statue.
That's a good one.
So Tyler Thornburg goes to work in relief of Giovanni Gallardo. Nice long rest for Teheran. That fella's a 4-0 lead.
First at bat for Thornburg this year.
I wonder if Thornburg is old enough to remember the TV show The Thornbirds.
I'm saying no.
Just ask. Fly ball deep left. Long run out there for Justin. Oh, warning track. That ball almost flew out of here off the bat of Tyler Thornburg.
That was very Gallardo-like.
Yeah.
That may have been his first at bat, but that was not the first time that young man's had a bat in his hand. That's a good hack. 2 good hacks.
Well, you know why?
Well, he is an athlete playing the pitching position, of course.
That might have been a home run in Milwaukee. But a long out here is Gomez. Whacks one back to the screen. Foul again. 0-1 for Carlos, who's 1 for 2 in the game. 2 more with Milwaukee after tonight's game. Then the Rockies are here over the weekend. And the Bo Sox for 2. Get a chance to see our old pal David Ross come to town with the world champs. Been a rough start to the year for Boston. They're 3 under 500 and 3 games behind the Yankees in the American League East.
I'm not saying that the Red Sox are going to finish in that spot in the American League East, but that's kind of what they were expecting last year. They weren't counting on a great season last year, and all of a sudden all those guys they signed, those blue collar guys they signed, put it together and won it all.
Well, they made big news today, didn't they?
Yeah.
Stephen Drew signed with the Red Sox today. A prorated $10 million contract, a 1-year deal. He goes back to Boston. And apparently they were talking once this whole process of free agency started back in spring training when Drew went unsigned. The Red Sox were exploring the possibility with Scott Boras as to whether or not he would consider a return to the Red Sox. And he will go back to Boston. He's not playing tonight, but he signed, sealed, and delivered back to Boston.
How many guys in the clubhouse do you think when they see him will say, "What, did you miss the bus? Where have you been?"
There'll be a few comments for sure.
Gomez lost his helmet. And he's struck out for the 2nd time tonight. That's 4 for Tehran. 2 quick outs.
You know, let me ask you, we were talking about this last night. Is that a 2-strike swing?
Negative.
You know?
No. Okay. Negative, Ghost Rider.
It's almost a lost art in the game, isn't it, these days?
I mean, it really is.
It's not an art, though.
No, it's not.
It's just common sense.
Well, I'm using that term loosely, obviously.
Yeah, it's a lost effort to try to make contact.
Well, let me ask you guys. I don't think you guys are old school by any stretch of the imagination, but you played in an era where the game was played certainly a lot differently than it is now. As Jeanette singles to right field with 2 outs. Are you concerned at all at the 7 consecutive seasons of strikeout rates increasing in Major League Baseball?
You know, I don't like it, but again, I know part of it is there's a lot better pitching in the game today. Okay. You know, I don't want to say it's gone totally this way, but you know, it used to be, hey, get the starting pitcher out of there so we can get to the middle relievers and the guys in the bullpen that aren't any good. Now, in a lot of cases, it's almost, we better get our hits off the starters because those guys coming out of the bullpen are really good. So that certainly has added to it, but I still am convinced, based on with Gomez in his last at bat. I mean, there's almost not even an effort to shorten up and put the ball in play with 2 strikes anymore. And I'm not a huge fan of it. So I guess I get it a little bit, but
from a fan's perspective, and from a pace of game perspective, and from a beauty of the game perspective, Joe, does that bother you?
I don't know what pace of the game has to do with it. All I can speak to is when I played, for what that's worth, and I hate it when guys say that, but since you ask about eras, that wasn't tolerated. If you went up there swinging from your tail all 3 swings and you weren't trying to do what was expected of you, then you didn't play.
Ryan Braun with 2 strikes. And he waves and misses. And Braun will be struck out. That's 5 for Tehran. And the Braves bats go right back to work with a 4-0 lead. There's your Delta Airlines on deck trio here in Game 2.
Great clips. Braves on the board early with Anderson Simmons' home run. Some good hitting, some good bunting, and taking advantage of some opportunities when you got guys on base. That's key to these clips.
Yeah, more of what we've been talking about. A home run, obviously, which is always key, but some good approaches, some key base hits with guys in scoring position, and big 3-run inning, and then add one on again in the 4th. So more good stuff here to start the homestand.
So Justin Upton ready to go for Atlanta. A 2-run hit in the 3rd inning. That was where the Braves scored 3 times. They got a home run from Simmons. The key sequence in that 3rd was the base on balls to Ramiro Pena. Pena came up with a couple of men on. Then Freddie Freeman walked against Gallardo, and then Justin Upton singled home 2. Braves cashed in a leadoff walk in the 4th inning to B.J. Upton for their 4th and final run to this point. Way high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Thornburg's got to try to hold the Braves right where they are and hope the Brewers rediscover the offensive magic. Upton ahead in the count and had a good cut. 2-2.
That was a nice, easy control cut too. Good balance on this.
It's a full count now for Justin Upton as we approach the top of the hour in Atlanta tonight. Chris Johnson and B.J. Upton to follow. Remember, Evan Gattis was a late scratch tonight with a viral condition. He's not able to go tonight. That's down the right field line and well hit. Braun won't get that one. A line drive homer. Wow.
there were some guys on the Braves team talking about Michael Morse's opposite field line drive homer when the Giants were in town and how strong you had to be to do that. But take a look at that guy. Man, did that ball jump.
That ball was crushed.
And another easy swing with great balance.
So it's 5-0 Atlanta. Here's Chris. And he jumps all over a pitch and rips it to left.
Hey, Chris.
That's a much needed hit for Chris Johnson. That snaps an 0 for 17.
That ought to put a smile on his face. That home run, back to Justin's home run, was he wasn't even leaning that way. He wasn't even inside outing that swing that way. That was just a perfect on balance fastball away that he went with. Incredible. Love that camera.
B.J. Upton 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Three runs for B.J. in the last 2 games for the Braves. And a chance to bring home Chris Johnson. And a fly ball center field. Gomez should catch that, and he will. Chris is going to tag. Here comes the throw toward third. It's going to be in time. What a throw by Gomez.
Like you said, Tommy, he's got a lot of tools. This was an awesome throw on the bag. And the right call.
Well, it took a perfect throw, and he threw one.
And that wasn't from straightaway center or left center. That was from right center.
He's a Gold Glover, you know. Here's Simmons. He's homered, single, and scored a run. Hamilton 5 for 7 at the plate in the series. And ball 2.
Manny Gonzalez, the umpires, set up for that. Talked about Manny last night hustling on some foul balls to be in a position to get the right angle. Well, he was right in the middle of that.
At short, Segura glides and guns. And Simmons' perfect night of offense is over, as Atlanta's done in the 5th. But Justin Upton hits a line drive homer to right field. That extends the Braves' lead. We head to the 6th. Big night at the plate. He's homered, he's singled, he's knocked in 3, and the Braves lead 5-0 behind Julio Teheran. As always, thanks to our friends at Delta Airlines, proud sponsors of the Atlanta Braves. Never too early for Matt Coney to start the grocery shopping for the next charter flight. We head to Boston next week.
Seems like he always has a nice surprise too, and a nice treat that's kind of local.
Maybe get some Boston baked beans.
So the beans, I think, will be on there.
Yeah. Maybe some Fenway Franks.
I don't know. It would be too much to ask for maybe a lobster tail.
Maybe a good one, but.
No.
Jonathan Lucroy is the hitter. Boston baked beans are fine with me as long as nobody on the crew's last name is Taggart. Lucroy at .316 on the year. He's walked and he has doubled tonight. Even count. The game shows no mercy. You're playing a team as good as Milwaukee and they are struggling like they are. You really want to get these games in the win column. Braves took 2 out of 3 from them in the first series of the season. They won last night. They're winning again tonight. And after this one, Milwaukee, after the series that is, they head down to Miami for a 3-game set with the Marlins. And their power-packed pitching staff that's without Jose Fernandez, of course. But that team in that park, a very dangerous offensive club, and that may not be good news for the Brewers the way they're swinging the bats right now.
Well, you want to beat the teams that you should beat, and then you want to catch the good teams maybe at the bad time for them and take advantage of that. And so far through the first game and a half, the Braves have been able to do that with Milwaukee.
Fly foul, Lucroy, a 1-2 count.
They can certainly lean on the fact, if they want to, about losing Ramirez, about losing Braun for 2 weeks. But I don't know that this club will do that, or that Ron Renick, their manager, will let them do that, especially after all the hard work they put in the first month and a half.
Pop fly, shallow center, out goes Pena, and Ramiro with terrific range is able to haul that in over the shoulder in front of B.J. Upton. Nice play for the first out.
This is a great read by Ramiro, immediately knowing that it wasn't hit that high, so there was no chance for B.J. to come in and get it. He was on a dead run immediately. Ramiro's grandfather and father both played professional baseball in the Mexican League. Can you imagine how proud they must be of Ramiro?
Oh man,
to play in the major leagues and do what he's doing.
Overbay pops the first pitch he sees up to the left side. Foul ground for Chris Johnson. He's got that. Overbay's 0 for 3. And 2 quick outs. Frustrating night for Milwaukee. Teheran's held him in check. He's limited the Brew Crew to just 3 hits. Maybe the bigger concern for Milwaukee tonight is the status of Giovanni Gallardo, who left after turning his ankle, it appeared. They can't lose him. He's a big part of their rotation. A rotation that's been terrific for them all year long.
Well, hopefully it was just a case of them doing the smart thing tonight, not pushing it, and he'll be fine, ready to go in 5 days.
Nothing in 1 for Segura. And that's headed for the seats foul. It's 0-2.
Okay, here's a 2-strike count. Back to that just for a brief moment. As a pitcher, Tommy, if you knew a guy was just still going to be up there swinging from his heels, that gave you an added advantage. You certainly weren't afraid to work middle of the plate away here.
Oh no, and you really could be even more aggressive in trying to throw a pitch out of the strike zone, because you know they're going. You figure they're going to chase.
That's what Ryan Braun did, and the 5th pitch too high for Segura. 1 ball 2 strikes.
Whereas if you've got a guy up there who's willing to go the other way, all of a sudden the middle away is not quite so attractive to you.
Popped up again, this time to first. Boy, Tehran has been brilliant tonight. 3 up, 3 down in the top of the 6th inning. Julio's due second in the home half of the inning, and he enjoys a big lead. Game summary.
Anytime you get some runs, and we've been talking about how nice early runs are, sure makes life easier for the pitcher, and Julio is cruising.
Yeah, sure does. And you know, I guarantee you his record and the way he's pitched is wearing on him a little bit, and coming off of that start his last time out, best thing that could have happened for him, get some runs, relax, and go out and pitch.
Now Jared Laird drives the first one he sees toward right. Ryan Braun's there and has it. 1 pitch, 1 out in the Atlanta 6th. Laird is 1 for 3, and here is Tehran.
I went in the clubhouse after that game in San Francisco to kind of seek out Julio and give him a little pat on the back, you know, because it was such a out of character performance by him that I wanted to give him a little encouragement, because I figured it really bothered him, and it did. But you know what? He had a smile on his face, and he usually does. But he wasn't sitting in front of his locker with his, you know, head between his knees and pouting. It was like, yeah, I had a bad outing, but I'll be ready in 5 days.
Well, I mean, I think that's part of the growing process, not only for a young pitcher or a young player, but also for a guy that, you know, is kind of putting himself in that ace of the staff role, you know, and you have to start looking at when you have a bad game as well. That's the fluke, not the good game. You know, this is just one of those nights. I'm going to brush it off, learn a little something from it, and move on.
That's a great point.
You know, one of the good things about having a bad game or you know, is it forces you to do a little self-analysis, but you don't want to beat yourself up over it.
Well, you talk about being a staff ace. Last 36 starts, Tehran has the 4th best ERA in the game.
Yeah, and then that even his record right there is a little bit deceiving. I mean, 16-11, and you got a 2.65 over 36 starts. I mean, that could easily be 26-7 or something like that. I mean, that's really good right there. Those numbers.
Out of play foul. The count remains full and 3-2. Well, we forget, and this has been such a highly touted young pitcher in the Braves system for so long. I think we're all guilty of forgetting just how young Julio Teheran truly is. This kid was born in '91.
Oh. That puts it in perspective.
Okay. I mean, 1991. And so the Braves obviously see his potential. They saw him have a breakthrough year last year with a 14-win campaign. And Teheran was one of the many people Frank Wren extended this offseason. Teheran signed through the 2019 season with an option for 2020. So you figure Teheran, if he can stay healthy, we all hope he will, is going to get better and better and better as he gets bigger and stronger and more experience under his belt. He's already pretty darn good.
I think mentally too, for a young player like him to have a good year like he did last year, boy, he's all fire and brimstone come start of this season, and now he's the opening day starter, and he may have designs like anybody, but I'm going to win 20 games this year. I'm going to be that much better than I was last year. And then all of a sudden you're not getting any runs, you're not getting any W's, and you're pitching a couple of good games that you should get wins, and the bullpen blew it. So there's some frustration that can set in too for a young guy.
No balls, 2 strikes. And Hayward fought that off and stayed alive.
That's why I think that you have to be careful when you're setting goals for a season, that you're setting goals based on batting average or how many games am I going to win. You know, I think the better approach is, you know what, I'm going to make 35 starts and I'm going to try and pitch 200 innings. And if you do that, there's a really good chance that it's all going to take care of itself. Because you could say, wow, I want to win 20 games this year, and you only end up winning 15, but you've pitched really, really well. Well, what do people remember? Oh, well, he wanted to win 20 games. He had a bad year, you know, and that can play on you a little bit.
Hayward got that one to second. Jeanette with a great play, but Hayward outran the ball. Man, oh man, Jeanette did indeed scoot to his left. He made a diving stop, but could not get Hayward, who beat the play by a step.
Pulled an outside pitch in the hole and scoots to his feet quickly, but not in time. Tommy, to your point about those innings pitched and starts, when I broke in with the Dodgers, Steve Garvey got a lot of criticism from his teammates because on the knob of his bat he would write 200 for 200 hits, and people perceived that to be very selfish. And I always looked at it as, you know what, for you other guys, if he gets 200 hits, he's going to put some money in your pocket. You guys are probably going to the postseason somehow because he's going to have a heck of a year. He wasn't writing on there 25 homers and 110 RBIs, but he knew if he got 200 hits, he was going to have a good year and help the team.
Well, that little reminder of 200 hits certainly can help keep you from giving some at bats away in the dog days of summer.
Yep.
Big cut by Pena, who didn't get it. 2 balls and a strike. Five runs, 7 hits for the Braves. No runs, 3 hits for Milwaukee. Brewers have committed 2 errors. The Braves 1. Thornburg's got a good fastball. That one led her high, and Pena missed that one too.
Right over the top.
This figures to be the Brewers pitcher's final inning. His spot's due third in the top of the seventh. We'll see. As Pena waits on a 2-2 and he hits it in the air to right. Braun in a couple of steps and Ryan's got it, and that'll retire the side. No runs, a hit, a man left. Seventh inning, lower third for Milwaukee. Tehran leads 5-0.
An Upton home run. I asked Jason Hayward before the game today if this team was strong enough to make pitchers pay when they go the opposite way.
We've had a lot of lineouts as a team. I feel like we've had a lot of balls hit hard at people, and that's going to happen throughout the season. Teams are going to play good defense. They're going to be in good position, but if we take what they give us, not try to do too much, we will run into home runs. That's going to happen. We have that capability.
So it's not just taking what the pitcher gives you, it's being able to do something with it. Dave Baker tells me that 4 of the last 8 Braves home runs have been opposite field blasts.
And that's in keeping, Tom, with what we've seen the last couple of days. Braves are going the other way, and the offense is also going the other way, from misery to prosperity. 5 more across tonight. They're scoring 9 runs with 13 hits make that 15 hits in game 1 last evening. Here in the 7th, Davis, the Yankee, and then the Brewers pitcher's spot. And that's inside ball 2. Very economical game for Julio to this point. He's thrown 84 pitches.
Manager Glavine.
Sir.
5-0 lead. Fairly comfortable. 80, how many pitches? 85. 7 innings good for you? Turn it over the pin, or you let him go as far as he needs to go or wants to go?
Well, I mean, if he can be economical in the next couple innings, I'd like to see him have a shot at getting a shutout, but not at the expense of throwing 125, 130 pitches.
Now, in Julio's last start in San Francisco, he was anything but economical. It was a short outing, but he threw a lot of pitches because he walked so many people. So we'll see if that factors into Freddie Gonzalez's decision. As Davis pops another pitch up to the right side. This time it's Ramiro Pena. The Brewers have been pop-up happy in this game. There's out number 1. The last 4 outs for Milwaukee have been pops on the infield.
And it's usually a sign of being late. And the barrel dragging, getting under the pitch. And that's kind of unusual at this stage of the ball game, since he's already approaching 90 pitches that he'd still have enough velocity to cause that to happen.
Jeff Bianchi is the hitter. And yes, that's how he pronounces his last name. It's not Bianchi, but Bianchi. Back to the mound. It ricochets off Tehran, but he recovers in time. And there's out number 2. Let's make sure Julio's all right.
They've hit him in the neck or chin. The neck, I guess. Gerald got a laugh out of him because it wasn't Gerald's neck.
If that was Michael Pineda, the ball would have stuck.
Yeah, right.
So 2 outs. And Thornburg's going to hit for himself here. And he put a charge into the ball in the 5th inning. He drove up into the warning track and left.
Laser Baker's given him a nickname. You mentioned the Thornbirds.
Yeah.
Marvelous Marv.
I like it.
Good call, Dave. It's no moose sauce, but good call.
Can't believe you pulled that out of wherever.
0-2 pitch. And that's up and away. Cardinals beating Arizona 2-0. That's a score of import to the Brewers. They lead St. Louis by 3.5 in the Central. Washington 9-2 over the Reds. Oh, and Tehran hits Thornburg. He didn't want to do that on a 2-strike 2-out pitch. And now he's got to get after Gomez here with a man aboard in the 7th.
Well, even like a good hitter, he turned the right way, took it on the back of the arm, which is not his throwing arm. Last thing Julio wanted to do was plunk him.
So he's back to the stretch, and here's Gomez. He has struck out twice. And he is rapidly approaching the Bartolo Colon Award for swinging and hoping.
And his helmet has fallen off a couple of times tonight, too.
One ball, one strike.
Tell you what, though, he made about as good a throw from right center field to third base as you ever want to see tonight.
He nailed Chris Johnson. One ball, one strike. Look out. A hot shot into the first row of seats above the Braves dugout.
That got somebody bad.
I think that foul ball got a young fan.
It takes the wind out of everybody's sails. You see the whole team with their hats off and kind of bent over.
How about
look at Gomez at the plate.
We could hear the youngster all the way upstairs, and Braves ushers, medical people got down there very quickly and have taken him or her for attention. over. 7th inning stretch, 5-0 Atlanta.
Depot and Zaxby's Indescribably Good.
Welcome back to the bottom of the 7th inning. Still 5-0 Braves your score. And fans, now it's time for you to tweet your photo using #SouthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. That's brought to you by AT&T.
Good night for Julio Teheran. 7 innings with 6 strikeouts. Nice return to form for Teheran, who, as Joe said, was disappointed, obviously, with the results of his last start against the Giants out west. So back on his home mound, he's held Milwaukee to 3 hits through 7 innings, and we'll see if he'll be allowed to continue tonight.
Yeah, and he walked 2, but they were both in the 2nd inning. He hasn't walked a batter since. He did just plump the pitcher, but his command's been really good.
After the 7th inning stretch, the Braves back to work in the 7th with Freeman, Justin Upton, and Chris Johnson. Freddie's 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Interesting that Ron Renicky down 5 runs in the 7th inning with 2 outs, kept Thornburg out there. As you said, Joe, he's a starter in waiting. Fly ball to right will be chased down by Braun. He looked to have a little trouble with LED lights in the ballpark, but he made the play for out number 1. But they're going to let Thornburg pitch some extended innings, and if Gallardo has to miss a start, these might be stretch out innings for him. And he gets the first out here in the home half of the inning. 1 out for Upton. Homer, 3 RBIs for Justin tonight.
We'll show you that swing again, guys, and I want you to watch on the home run to the opposite field. Watch his follow through, or what there was of one. I mean, that didn't even go all the way around. That's very Mike Schmidt-like.
Towering fly ball to center. He gets such great extension, doesn't he?
So strong. He doesn't have to fall down and swing hard. Just about getting that barrel out there. Hands inside. Hips rotating open. Point of contact out front.
Yeah, that's why guys with that good extension, you gotta keep them honest inside. But Better not make a mistake in there.
Well, once again tonight, every Brave who started the game has been on base at least once. Including Chris Johnson, who doubled last time. This ball popped into shallow right center field, and the grab is made by Scooter Gennett. And the Braves are quickly down in the 7th inning, and we go to the 8th. Beautiful night for Braves baseball. And tonight's Volkswagen pitching performance is Julio Teheran.
Well, he's been really good tonight. Talked about the importance of coming back from that off start in San Francisco, and he's done that. He's had all his pitches working, both sides of the plate, been aggressive in the strike zone, and certainly the fact that the Braves gave him a little bit of a cushion early on didn't hurt things. So he's taken advantage of that and gone out there and gotten himself back on track, solid outing to this point in time, and he can get himself a shot at a shutout.
Yeah, I like the fact he's going back out there for the 8th inning. And he's got Scooter Gennett to lead things off. Nobody's moved a muscle in the Braves bullpen. Teheran, 97 pitches, 63 strikes. As we've said a zillion times, it's not so much the pitches but the stress of them. He really hasn't had, Tommy, many stressful innings.
No, he hasn't, and that's the other part of the equation. You know, he's getting up to the 100 pitch mark, but hasn't had a whole lot of stressful situations tonight.
Tommy, do you put much stock in with the rash of Tommy John surgeries? Do you put much stock in the fact that maybe guys don't throw enough to build up their arms because we have so many strict pitch counts?
You know, I think that there's something to be said for that. Yeah, I mean, maybe guys don't throw properly in between starts. You know, whether it's, I don't know that it's so much the amount, maybe, as much as maybe the effort sometimes, you know. I mean, we used to take so much grief for the amount of throwing we did, and throwing two times off the mound in between starts was crazy and all this stuff. Well, I understand the concept of that, but
another pop up. Freeman in, foul ground is there. It has it, one down.
But you watch. You know, our thing was always, okay, if I'm gonna play catch, and I'm gonna work on my pitches, why do I want to do that on flat ground in the outfield? Why don't I go on the mound where I'm going to be doing it in the game and throw the same effort level as I would when I'm playing catch and make my pitches spin and do the things that I want them to do, and then you carry that into a game when you pitch. Well, The concern is always, well, if guys get on the mound, they're going to up their effort. Well, that's where you got to watch guys' effort. Now, the flip side is, well, if guys aren't throwing off the mound so much, but they're just playing catch in the outfield, well, you watch how many guys are playing flat ground catch in the outfield and absolutely airing it out.
And they've usually asked the guy they're playing catch with to squat down like a catcher.
Right.
Little comebacker. Tehran's going to take care of Ryan Braun. 2 out.
Let me throw out an alternative, and that is Derek Lowe, when he pitched here, never on the disabled list in his whole career. And between starts on one day, he's throwing foul pole to foul pole almost, but really long catch every time on that particular day between starts. And I don't know if that had something to do to strengthen his arm and help him stay off the disabled list or not, but he went through a real rigorous throwing program in between.
Yeah, I'm not a guy that has strong feelings about long toss one way or the other. I mean, I don't think it's a for sure thing to build up arm strength, and I also don't think it's the kind of thing that you're going to necessarily hurt yourself. I think where you have to be careful with long toss is you have to be smart to know what your level is, and if you're getting to a point where, again, it's max effort to play catch with the guy you're playing catch with, then you're probably throwing the ball too far. It ought to be the kind of thing that if you can get it there 70-80% effort level and it's got a little bit of a hump in it, then you're okay. But again, when you're just rearing back and crow hopping 300 feet and throwing it as hard as you can to get it to the guy you're throwing to, then to me that's when you start getting into some trouble.
How big a problem is it, Tommy, that baseball is putting every pitcher in the same box? And by that I mean, as McCoy takes outside, every pitcher 110 pitches, every pitcher certain number of innings, every pitcher same repertoire, but different people with different upbringings baseball wise are coming down with the same elbow problems.
I mean, I just think it speaks to the fact that there's no certain way to prevent it.
Lucroy, a gapper toward left center field. Long run, B.J. Upton. He'll cut it off. Lucroy's going to try. Here comes the throw. It is dropped at second, and it was off target. Upton had a long way to go, and Lucroy was thinking 2 out of the box, and that's his second double of the night, and he's aboard in the 8th.
You know, I get trying to monitor pitches. I get trying to monitor innings. I get all that. Again, there's not an end-all cure-all. You know, I think common sense plays a lot. Look, I get that you don't want a kid coming from the minor leagues where he's maxed out at 150 innings and then he gets to the big leagues and, hey, go out there and throw 220 innings, son. You won't have any problems doing that now you're in the big leagues. Well, yeah, you might. So I get all that. But, again, I think that there has to be some common sense involved, and I still get back to the same thing that we keep talking about: overuse as kids and the effort level that they show when they're here.
Nice play, Freeman. Bobbles, seat of his pants. Tehran right at the bag. Good coordination. And the shutout bid is still alive for Julio. Milwaukee out of luck in the 8th inning. Bottom half of the inning is coming up for Atlanta, which is putting it all together on a second night in a row against Milwaukee. It's a 5-0 game. for tonight's Subway box score.
Good nights up and down, and even though Freddie doesn't have a hit, he's got a walk. He's been on base. Offense coming around top to bottom. And remember, Evan Gattis scratched tonight right before game time with viral symptoms, and Gerald Laird has chipped in a single and a run scored.
Milwaukee's offense stuck in neutral again. They have 4 hits. Dave Baker tells us they're 0 for 7 tonight with runners in scoring position and 0 for 13 in the series. So now it's Will Smith's turn to pitch. He's the 3rd hurler of the ball game. Nice job by Thornburg. He went 3 2/3 for the Brewers and allowed just 1 run.
Look at his good numbers. Okay, this is exactly what we talked about last night. Now, they were trailing going to the bottom of the 8th, but only by a run. But Renicky did not bring him in to try to hold it at 1 run. He brought in the kid Wong. But tonight he's bringing him in. It's 5-0.
Yeah, tonight,
I'm a little confused.
Well, tonight it's probably more out of necessity. I think last night he was probably trying to save him a little bit, and it backfired. Obviously, and now tonight probably doesn't have much choice.
Upton skies one toward right center field. Braun and Gomez. And it's going to be Gomez who makes the play for out number 1. Let's see. Smith last pitched on Friday. So
that makes sense that he wants to get him some work.
Yep.
Braun was calling for it, but apparently so was Gomez. It's been a bad collision.
Ryan, you might want to try Yo La Tengo. Here's Simmons. That's outside. 1 ball, no strikes. $20,045 the official attendance tonight. And the major plans for the rest of the week. Hope you'll join us. 2 more with Milwaukee and a big weekend with Colorado coming up. Great tickets available. Then the Red Sox are in town for 2 games next week. All year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price every day with Joe Simpson, Hall of Famer Tom Glavine, Tom Hart, Chip Carey from Turner Field, where the Braves are in good shape to win their 3rd consecutive ball game.
Good pitching matchup again tomorrow too, with Kyle Loesch pitching against Urban Santana. Loesch has really pitched better than any of their starters. Overall, he's 5-1 with a .288. There's a guy that knows how to pitch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching Santana. I haven't seen him live yet. Watched him a few times on TV. Like how he goes about his business, and fun to watch.
Certainly unflappable, I know that.
The Braves beat Kyle Loesch on April Fool's Day up in Milwaukee. They hit 2 home runs in that game. Jason Hayward and Freddie Freeman. Freeman also hit a home run off Zach Duke. The Braves won that game 5-2. So Laird now in the driver's seat. 3 balls, no strikes.
Remember how you used to hate the chart?
Yes.
Well, you don't have to do that anymore. I'm sorry you missed out on all the video. Just have it all worked up for you by Rob Smith, and you don't have to chart.
I know. Well, you know, it was good when we finally convinced Bobby to let us do it in the clubhouse.
On the sofa?
Yes. Then it was a nice, relaxing night the night before he pitched. But I had some video at the tail end of my career. It was pretty helpful. I liked it.
3 balls and a strike. Line drive into right center field by Gerald Laird. A surprise start for Gerald, and he responds with a 2-hit game. As Joe mentioned, an outstanding pitching matchup here tomorrow night. The starters presented by our friends at Chevron.
Santana was not active yet at the beginning of the season in Milwaukee, so they have not seen him, and he's pitched very well. Took a loss in his last time out, but a couple of guys going at it with very similar numbers.
So how long did it take Bobby to turn into a big softy and let you guys sit in the clubhouse? I mean, this is a manager who still wore spikes every game.
Well, he cut us some slack because he knew ultimately we were doing everything we needed to do in between starts, and we were prepared, and it certainly helped that we pitched well. A lot of that stuff probably would have gone away if we weren't exactly doing our job.
No balls and a strike to Tehran.
That was kind of a pirouette.
Yeah, that wasn't real pretty. That wasn't very athletic. It's all right. He's trying to get this game going along. He wants to get back out there to get his shutout.
He's doing the right thing. Came really close, though.
Yeah. So what? Hitting him in the shin?
Ball, 2 strikes. And a little tapper back to the mound. Smith's got it. And the peg to first in plenty of time. Julio Tehran will go for the complete game shutout bid when we come back to the 9th inning. It's 5-0 Braves in game 2.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta area Mazda dealers.
It's 5-0 ball game. Braves trying to sweep the first 2 games of this 4-game series. It's time for tonight's Zaxby's indescribably good play.
Well, doesn't get any better than that. See a right-handed hitter hit a ball on a line about 350 feet for a home run. That was an indescribably good play.
So while Tehran readies himself for the 9th inning, let's finish off our AT Uverse trivia question tonight. Remember, Giovanni Gallardo started the game and left with injury. He has 1,121 career strikeouts. That's the second most in the history of the Brewers. Who's first?
I'm going to stick with my first reaction, which was Teddy Higuera.
What are you going with, sir?
I'm going to go Ben Sheets.
Okay, I think the answer is Ben Sheets, but I'm going to go with Moose Haas anyway.
I'm just proud of you for remembering Moose Haas.
Segura with a leadoff hit on the first pitch. So he's aboard for the second time. He's also reached on an error. And now Chris Davis is the batter. Let's see if the three wise men were able to answer the question correctly tonight. It was Ben Sheets.
There we go, lads. Hope Ben's watching tonight.
Activity begins in the Braves bullpen. Ian Thomas
and David Hale.
Foul back to the screen. Strike one. Last year the Braves had one complete game. One. Tehran has a shot for the third complete game for the Braves. Alex Wood has one. Tehran has one.
And that one complete game last year was a loss. It was an 8-inning effort by Mike Minor.
.112 pitches for Tehran. But again, very little stress. And a leadoff walk in the second, a leadoff double in the fourth, and now a line drive to third gets him the first out of the inning.
As promised earlier in the game, we have the AT fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to #SouthFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T.
There's a nice couple.
This is Elian Herrera. We saw him last night in the seventh inning. He struck out. Braves were able to beat Willie Peralta last night. They're beating Giovanni Gallardo tonight, a man that came in 5-1 in his career against the Braves. But Tehran, too tough for the Milwaukee offense. The Braves with 5 runs on 8 hits. They've hit 2 homers. One by Justin Upton, one by Anderton Simmons. Justin also with a 3 RBI game.
Let's get a nice 6-4-3 right here.
Sounds good.
Put this thing to bed.
The Magnificent Seven will be.
Yeah.
Way upstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That was a classic.
As soon as Jeffrey Leonard hits into a 6-4-3 double play, we'll feature the movie.
Up the middle, a base hit. And streaking around second and headed for third is Segura. He didn't even think about stopping at second. And now the Brewers have runners at the corners with 1 out, and Ricky Weeks grabs a bat. And the shutout bid in jeopardy here, and that'll send Roger McDowell to the bullpen phone. Weeks entered the series the hottest hitter for Milwaukee. He had 12 hits and 23 at bats over his 10 previous games before last night. The Braves held him down to an 0-for-3 game. His last at bat was a 6-4-3 double play. Now Craig Kimbrell gets up for Atlanta. Good breaking ball. That's driven down the right field line, and Weeks now down to his last strike as we reach the top of the hour. 10 o'clock here in Atlanta.
Remember last night, Kimbrell was up briefly, but when the Braves rallied in the bottom of the 8th, he was able to sit down and not have to pitch in the game. Saved him a little work.
Weeks didn't offer. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Same pitch, same result. Gomez on deck. He's gone to the same spot 3 straight times and didn't get the call on any of the pitches.
Seth Buckminster, I think, has done a real good job behind the plate tonight. But the fans were on him for this one, and he happened to be right.
Still could have called it.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Herrera leads at first, doesn't go, and Weeks chased a high fastball. He's out number 2.
Got him upstairs.
So Gomez, the final Brewers hope. He's 1 for 4 with a single and 3 swinging strikeouts. Herrera takes second. The Braves don't particularly care. We'll see if he's credited with a steal or defensive indifference.
Well, they weren't even holding him.
No steal. 0-1. Far and away the most pitches Tehran has thrown in a game this year. That's number 126, and it's fouled straight back. And that is a career high in pitches for Julio tonight. It was 123. One more would be fine with this crowd.
And preserve the shutout.
The 1-2. Ooh, popped up and foul. Braves have 6 shutout wins this year. The Brewers have been shut out 4 times. Another 1-2. A career night for Julio Tehran. He goes the distance with 127 pitches, and the Braves have shut out Milwaukee by a final score of 5-0. Run support for Tehran, a huge key early tonight. He got 3 runs in the 3rd inning and then put the pedal to the metal. His 2nd career shutout and complete game. His first came on April the 16th. And the Braves have won the first 2 games over the Brewers quite handily here at home. 5-0 is your final score. We're back to Turner Field to talk more about it right after this.